Okay, so I hope you've gathered your materials together, that you have your circles and your paint and your applicators. And before I start, I must just say that those of you who are on the ball may have noticed that I said term 1 when we are actually in term 2. So we're looking at the grades 4 and grade 6 term 2 projects. My apologies, what a crazy year. Term 2. Okay. So, looking at our inspiration for the week, and each week we are going to access inspiration. So, inspiration is something that makes us excited, it makes us, it brings images into our minds, it basically gets those creative juices flowing. And inspiration is very important, otherwise, we're going to create something that is dead on our surface. So, the inspiration today is starting at the beginning, and we're going to start with doodles. Now, doodles are the things that we do when we are on the telephone to our friends, when we've got nothing to do and we're just sitting drawing. Doodles are things that are very personal to us. Everybody does different kinds of doodles, and it really is a time when our subconscious comes up and starts to play. So I often do curly-whirly lines and flowers. Some people do crisscrosses, some people do arrows, some people do houses. Whatever it is that you do in your doodle time, that is going to be your inspiration for our very first mandala. So you'll notice that when we do doodles, most of the time, the flow is very organic. That means that we're not looking at patterns that are repeated. We're going to be doing that next time. We're looking at flowing shapes or growing shapes, one that grows out of the other, where we don't know what the result is going to be. And that way we're going to have a conversation with our mandala, and in the end we're going to see something that basically speaks back to us. So I'd like you all to take your largest circle. I'm going to take this plate, and again, you don't have to have such a big surface, whatever you like. And the first thing I'm going to do is just draw around my circle with a pencil. And as I said, I'm actually going to be doing 2 lots because this one is going to be for our mobile. So I'm drawing around a CD in this case. Here's my CD. So I've got 2 circles. And the center of the circle usually or often is, I don't want to say the most important, but let's say the most special part of the mandala, because that is where the eye goes when one looks into the circle. So here I've got my large circle, and I am going to take another smaller shape, which I'm going to put into the middle. So you always start with a larger circle, as it's much easier to create balance that way. And so there I've created my surface. And my CD, I'm going to take a smaller circle. It's actually a Christmas decoration that I found. And I'm going to create the center for the smaller one. The next step is quite easy. What you're going to need is your wax candle. Let me just find my wax candle. And this wax candle is going to act as a resist. In other words, you can't paint into it. It kind of stands out from the food coloring. So you can also use oil pastels if you have those at home, or wax crayons. But for today, we're just going to use this candle, and I'd like you to draw around the center circle with the candle. And this is going to create a barrier or a boundary for your colors, which you're going to paint in a moment. And I'm going to do the same for my little circle. Okay, you can't actually see the wax, of course. The next step is going to be fun. The next step, we are just going to cover the mandala, the outside ring of the mandala, with color. And we're going to be using all the colors that we've mixed, or however many you have. And the idea is just to play, to have fun, to create different fields of color. You might want to put some music on, listen to something interesting, and something that inspires you. And here I've got my broom brush. And so I'm going to start. I've got all my different colors here. And in my own way, I'm going to just start covering the outside circle, washing my brush with my water each time. And I'm not planning anything. So the mandalas this time are actually very organic. And really you can do whatever you want. The idea is actually to stay away from geometric shapes and concentric circles just for this mandala. And so I'm going to cover my mandala with color. And I'm going to be exploring. So just remember, if you actually mix all these colors together, you're going to get a browny black. You don't particularly want that. So just let them touch each other, flow into each other, and have a little bit of fun.